Hey y'all, welcome back to Seeing What Sticks. For those of you who are new to the channel, first off, welcome. My name is Jonathan Wall, aspiring author, and on this show, we take story ideas and we kind of dissect them a little bit, discuss them, and we see if we can't use it for something, like to make a decent story out of. It could be anything from a plot concept to a plot device, world building, possibly even some form of theme, metaphor, simile, whatever. Just anything that we think we can use in a story. Now, today we're going to be talking about hunting for food. Hunting for cooked food. Does it stick? Well, let's talk about it. So, what do I mean by hunting cooked food? Well, you know how most people eat, in the real world. You have to either slaughter an animal, prepare the meat, or the milk or the eggs, and you have to harvest the produce and cook the produce if it's vegetables. You have to take raw organic ingredients and prepare them into a dish. My concept is more so the idea of hunting pre-cooked culinary dishes. I'm talking wild sandwiches. I'm talking spaghetti noodles that swim in the ocean. Or or fish fillets that swim in the ocean. I'm talking about trying to find, peach cobbler that climbs in trees or flying apple pies. A world where the foods that we eat today are alive and moving around like actual animals. Now, before you say anything, and I know exactly what you're thinking, no, I'm not talking about Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs 2. For those of you who have not seen the movie, basically, there is an island that is populated by living foodstuffs, just like I'm describing. There are elephants that are made out of watermelon. There is a giant cheeseburger spider that has French fry legs. There is monkeys that are made out of shrimp, like cocktail shrimp. I am not discussing that idea. It's very similar, but there is a distinct difference between my idea and this movie. Just so y'all don't accuse me of fucking stealing ideas, which is not at all what we're trying to do here. In that movie, the food animals are a great discovery. It's a great exception. The characters go to the island, and the animals are alive and they're vibrant, and it's like, wow, amazing. Everything is edible. I can't believe it. There's a giant sandwich swimming in the ocean. It's amazing. In my story idea, the food animals are commonplace. It's just a way of life. Now, I imagine this sort of story to be set in more of a Paleolithic era, in more of a tribal setting, where people are still living in tribes, hunter-gatherer types, because if we put this idea in the modern age, well, there's no story really. How's food developed in the modern day? You have farms. Um, people domesticate animals. They grow until the animal is mature. Then they're slaughtered. Then the meat is packaged. People buy the packaged raw meat from the store. They cook it, they eat it. Or vegetables are grown in great fields. The vegetables are harvested, shipped to a store. The people buy it, the people cook it, the people eat it. Well, if the food is already prepared and ready to eat just by existing, then there's no need for all those extra steps. People can just go straight to the farm, grab a fucking roast chicken that's running around, and just eat it straight up. Or people would have their own backyard animals where they would have their own, beef steaks. They'd have their own hot dogs, their own little herds of I don't even know. I'm running out of food. Tacos, a chicken coop full of chicken drumsticks. There's not much of a story there, but if we put it more in the context of a survival setting, where food is scarce, where you're literally chasing your meals, then that makes a lot more sense. Especially if you like a lot of the tribal stories I've read where you have these sort of small, sort of pre-Bronze Age civilizations, hunting for food is the biggest part of the society. Cooking the food and eating the food is easy, but you have to catch the food first because this is pre-farming, this is pre-domestication. This is pre-cultural advancement to this level. So, either way, whether the food is raw and has to be cooked, or the food is ready to eat, is just got to catch it, you still need to chase after it with a spear or a bow. So I think that really does help give this sort of idea a lot of diversity, or a lot of room for conflict. Now, by conflict, what am I talking about? Well, how about we start with our MC, our potential protagonist? Um, we could have a character who is either a hunter, who is the one hunting these living food animals, or we could have the member of a tribe who is also like a member of a hunting community. The son of a hunter, the daughter of a hunter, the wife of a hunter, or the wife could be the hunter. They could be the village elder who can't hunt anymore, that sort of situation. Or they could be one of the basket weavers, the clothing weavers, that sort of situation. So, what kind of story could you tell? Well, often with stories involving the sort of like the Stone Age survival, you're talking about food scarcity. You're talking about the dangers of being a small pre-technological era of human. We're fighting humans back in the day fought against the elements. They fought against the wild beasts of the region, and they fought against each other. So, obviously, that means that potentially the food that we're hunting is dangerous. Can you imagine getting like mauled to death by a roast chicken? Can you imagine just swimming through a river and getting like strangled to death by a bunch of spaghetti noodles? I mean, fugu blowfish is a meal that is prepared in Japan, but the fish is so toxic and deadly that you need to have a special license to cook fugu blowfish, and you even have to sign a waiver, um, basically acknowledging the risk. Because if the food is prepared incorrectly, you could get poisoned and die. So there is an actual food that could kill you. Not to mention the fact that people have actual food allergies. So what if you have somebody in your tribe who is allergic to peanuts, or the whole tribe is allergic to peanuts? They have a serious peanut allergy, and there's a giant peanut creature running around ready to really ruin your day. Like, you're just chasing after this little cheeseburger animal, and a giant peanut monster is threatening to kill you. That's ridiculous. You could have stories where the food migrates, just like normal animals, and the tribe has to follow the food to wherever they're going. Because obviously, if they were normal animals, you would have to follow them anyways because they're the food source. But it's a silly idea, but it's a silly way to frame a serious topic. You're still trying to follow the resources, you're still trying to keep yourselves alive. Um, what if potentially we're talking about tribes that fight each other for the food? There's just so many little animals running around, and we need to compete. What does that look like when there's only one? There's only one, poached quail or spotted dick, if you're British, out there in the field, and you've got another group of people who really want to eat that spotted dick. I I don't even know what spotted dick is, to be honest. I didn't look it up, but it's just funny to say. If you're British, I'm so sorry, but your food is funny, okay? Or potentially, if we're going with the topic of, you know, food animals who are dangerous, we could have a sort of horror story if you have more of a horror inclination, more of a terror, suspense inclination, where you've got a man eater. you know, in Soviet Russia, food cooks you. Where, there's a lot of stories about that vicious tiger or that lion, or that just like that one gator in the swamp that just kills everybody. He's the big old boy who has already eaten 5 people and taken a couple of hands. You can do that with food item, where now you've got a group of people who are fighting the food, or who are running from the food, where the predator basically becomes the prey. And now a giant cheesecake is trying to kill you. Not diabetes, but the cheesecake itself is trying to kill you. It's trying to eat you. A bowl of jello is trying to absorb you like a slime from D&D type of situation. So there you have it. Humans hunting cooked food. Does it stick? I can definitely see the potential. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. And if you have ideas for my next episode, please leave those in the comments as well. And if it's good enough, I'll mention your topic. I'll mention you by name if you would like. And we'll just go from there. Alright, see y'all.